With the NFL draft approaching and plenty of talk about Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, it's a great opportunity. J.J. McCarthy, who's not in this draft class, but was drafted high last year, 10th, multiple picks given up. It's a great opportunity for what I think, for myself, because I felt it today, is a reality check. I made a little graph that shows a couple different things, a few different graphs here. One of them, colorful graphs. Look at these beautiful graphs. On the total cash spent per passing touchdown last year in the NFL, the Niners were number one, $39,400 they spent for every one of Brock Purdy's passing touchdowns last year. It doesn't get better than that. It does not get. Now, total cash is, it includes your bonus. So, like, on this list, Baker Mayfield is a $40 million player. On a list where we do just the cap hit, where his cap hit last year was $6 million because the bonus got spread out, Baker Mayfield's going to rank even higher. I'll show you that list. If you're listening, I'll describe it to you in a second. But last year, the most cost-effective quarterbacks by total cash spent, Brock Purdy number one. This is about to change in a dramatic way. But Purdy's number one. Sam Darnold. Purdy, $39,000 number one. Number two, Sam Darnold, $277,000. All right. So the second most cash effective quarterback per touchdown thrown last year. What is that? Like, I didn't do the math ahead of time. 40,277. What is that? 6 times more expensive? And that's nothing. It's fine. You'd happily pay 277. You'd happily pay 277 in any year. 7 times. Okay. Bo Nix, 330,000. Lamar Jackson, 700,000. Again, this is the cash. So cap numbers. Jordan Love, 3 million because of the cash. If we go to cap numbers last year, oh, look, Brock Purdy, still the cheapest per cap hit touchdown, $40,000. Then you get a rookie Bo Nix at 99,000. The gap between number one and number two. Then you get Sam Darnold. That's where Baker comes in, right? Baker's total cash was like 40 million. His cap hit was 6. He threw 41 touchdowns. Very cost effective. Kyler Murray, not cost effective. $1.8 million per touchdown thrown for Kyler. Now, look, you get more expensive, but you throw more touchdowns. You can offset this. Jordan Love last year, 800,000. So per touchdown, Jared Goff, $715,000. Is this conversation about how much each team spent per touchdown? No, it's just kind of interesting. But to me, the reality check is this. As I'm listening to a conversation about, the Vikings, they had to pick up the phone. They had to talk to Aaron Rodgers. They had to check in. I started thinking about, for the consternation, and I know I do love that word, about however much Brock Purdy's going to pay. He's never going to be this cheap again per touchdown pass unless he throws the hundreds of touchdown passes. He's going to be more in just like what it costs. You hope he throws more touchdowns next year. 35, 30, 33, 32 touchdowns would be nice for whatever he's going to cost. Whatever he's going to cost, when we talk about just finding a quarterback and we don't talk about the money, we don't always have to have the graph and the salary cap involved. It's real. It's how teams talk about it. But it's not the whole thing because you still have to get on the field and play. And that's why when you say, well, Baker, he's so cost effective, for me, I go, yes, he is. He's a great option for the Bucs, and his career is amazing. It's incredible what he's pulled off, the comeback. But I don't think my opinion is that you're not winning a conference championship with him. He's too erratic, in my opinion. Like, I don't think the Niners are better off if they had, even at that rate, Baker, than whatever they're about to pay Brock. So I think one thing you have to think about is like, all right, whatever it's about to be, whose quarterback situation would you rather have? The Niners and Brock Purdy, or would the Niners rather have this other guy at his price? Now, we out the gate, we're going to start with a hot button. I'm an X on Jalen Hurts. Now, look, even if, don't get hung up on ones you disagree with, because maybe you disagree on Jalen Hurts, or maybe you disagree on Jaden Daniels, whatever. You'll see that in the end, even if we put the ones we disagree on aside, there's still not that many ones you'd rather have. But this is my so Hurts, no. Washington. Now here's the thing. I think we saw this last year with CJ Stroud. We saw it with Brock last year. If you go like, I don't think Brock's as good as some people think, you would use this as evidence. You saw it with Stroud. You saw it with Brock having one great year, one MVP caliber season early in your career guarantees nothing. The league adjusts. You got to do it again. So, but right now, you would just, the situation with Washington's incredible. Jaden Daniels throws as many touchdowns. And he's so cheap. He's cost like $6 million for several years. You have low cost certainty on Jaden Daniels. That's a great situation. Dallas, no thank you. Giants, no thank you. Detroit, no thank you. Minnesota, no thank you. JJ McCarthy, maybe, but maybe not. Who knows? Young quarterback, traded a lot for him. So much unknown. Like Brock's young, but rookie quarterback, second-year quarterback, so much unknown. Green Bay, I say no. Basically he's played 2 years. He sat for 3 years. You'd love, after sitting a guy for 3 years, to be more sure that he's the guy of forever. He did a good job, Jordan Love and his agent, waiting on the contract, doing the contract. He's basically got, he did 4 for 160, fine, with 2 years of guaranteed money left. It's basically 3 years on his contract, but it's 2 years of guaranteed money left. So not a bad situation for Green Bay, but they'd rather just pay $60 million for a franchise quarterback. They'd be like, oh, the good thing about Jordan Love is it's only $16 million dead cap in 2027. Like, it's not in the end. That's just making the best of not a great situation. Chicago, I don't think you'd rather have that situation, and nobody in the NFC South. The Rams, we go back and forth on the Rams. I thought what Matthew Stafford, who's only going to be older, what he did last year was really impressive. Like, really, really impressive. And if you're trying to win a championship, we thought the Niners were, if you said, is there a guy that can elevate lesser talent? Matthew Stafford is that. That's a good situation. Even though in the long run, expensive, older, we may look back after this year. I'm not going to lie about this. If you go back to last year, I waffle on Stafford versus Purdy, but ultimately Stafford could be a Hall of Famer. Seattle, no thank you. Arizona, no. I mean, is Kyler's ceiling higher? Yeah, in theory. Me personally, a personal rule of mine, if I got to pay franchise quarterback money to a guy who I don't think watches tape, don't love that. So what is that? Just for my list, maybe your list. I'll add 2 aside just to make everybody feel better. 1, 2, hell, I'll add 3. So for me, there's 2 teams, clear-cut, better situation. AFC, I got Buffalo. I got Baltimore. I got Cincy. I got Houston because he's cheaper. I mean, he's not cheaper than Brock. He's cheaper than Brock's about to be. I got Kansas City. I got the Chargers. You may not like that, but Herbert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's just say you're like, guy, no. You're overrating Brock. Let's add 3 to the front, make that 5. 3 to the NFC, make that 5. Let's add another to the AFC, make that 7. That's 12. Now, I don't think it's 12 better quarterback situations out there than Purdy, even when you pay him. Now, it's clearly not tier 1, right? It's not Buffalo. It's not Cincy. You're like, oh, this is, whatever we got to pay, it's worth it. It's not Washington where we'll see, but he's just so cost effective for a player of his talent. Just goes to show when you get the 262nd pick to be as good as Purdy's been, even your rookie quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels that are making 7 times in their first year what Brock is making in year 4, there's just you will never see. You will never see a quarterback as cost effective as Brock Purdy has been. And by the way, the numbers I ran are the 2024 numbers where he was more expensive, barely, and threw less touchdowns. If we'd done this for 2023, the numbers would be even crazier. That's when you factor in the money. Brock Purdy 2023 is one of the greatest quarterback seasons in the history of everything, every sport, cricket. I mean, maybe I don't know about the IPL, I'm listening to a latest episode of Acquired in the Premier League of Cricket in India, $5 million salary cap or something. There probably haven't been quarterbacks in 1985. This Brock Purdy's season would have $39,000 per touchdown pass. Maybe that one in 85 would have. Well, we should run the numbers. Purdy's 2023 cost effectiveness against 1979 quarterbacks. That's where it belongs. So you're not going back there, but you're also hoping that you're not going back here to the world of like Carolina, maybe Bryce Young, maybe just a lot of like, we benched him for half a year. Now he's back. New Orleans, Atlanta, even Minnesota. So excited. You draft a guy, tears his ACL. No, we like him. You know, the general manager, Quessy, goes on Good Morning Football on Tuesday and talks about him. We like him. And yeah, we had to talk to Aaron Rodgers, but that's just business. You got to do it. They haven't seen him play in a game. They don't know. They have no idea. 2 years from now, Sam Darnold could be better. But Sam Darnold, I think Seattle to me is like, you think about the teams who have just been in no man's land. Like they are in no man's land. Because I get it. I understand if you're an owner or a GM or a coach, like this rookie quarterback thing. I saw somebody did a comp today of Cam Ward to Josh Allen, which I think is an inspired comparison. I think it's a very interesting comparison. Kind of like it. And also, what are the odds Cam Ward's Josh Allen? 2%? Maybe 5%? Just not good. So you're like, oh, we're fired up. This is the clear cut. This is the guy. He's got all the tools. We got to get him. Go get him number one. There's no doubt about it. If you're being extremely bullish, you'd be like 5% chance. And if you think that's low, just think about all the most talented quarterbacks in all the drafts and how many of them turned into Josh Allen. A couple. Josh, Luck, Herbert, maybe. But there's so many that don't. 1 out of 20 turns into Josh Allen feels like pretty good odds if you're taking Cam Ward. So as much as I think the comp is interesting, he's not Josh Allen physically. Like he's not actually athletically Josh Allen. So now you're relying more on the passer. And he's gotten better. He has gotten so much better. This is a guy that was playing football in high school and whatever, small school, Division II, whatever it was, where they didn't throw the football. He didn't throw the football. So this is pretty impressive late evolution and development and blossoming for Cam Ward. And in that way, it's kind of Josh Allen-esque. I get that comp. But just understand, like, it's talented as he is. He's not as talented, I don't think, physically, runaround guy as Josh Allen. You're fired up right now. If the Niners had the number one pick right now and needed a quarterback and we're taking Cam Ward, I'd be fired up about it. Just like I was once upon a time when they took Trey Lance. What a disaster. What a disaster. Will he play in the NFL again? Maybe not. Is he going to the CFL? Maybe. I thought it was I supported the pick. I celebrated when they drafted him. I thought it was the sign of an evolving philosophy by Kyle Shanahan. And it turned out to be an awful trade. It turned out to be awful draft process, trading up without yet being sure which guy you're going to take. Spending all of that draft capital for the third best quarterback, like in the draft, right? You got the third pick, 2 quarterbacks are going ahead of them. Maybe you'll end up with a good one, but just the whole thing across the board. And then after you do all that, awful development, which I would have abandoned him, given up on him too. So cut your ties. And then now, it's like a 5-pronged disaster for the 49ers. because, and now you traded a lot and it didn't work. And even if it had worked, you were going to sacrifice your depth because you're giving up all these picks, and then it doesn't work. So and then you get lucky with Mr. 262 that you can go to heyguy.co. You can email me if you want to leave a comment on this video. That's great. Or on the podcast, that's great. But you can also just email. That might be the easiest thing for you. It's easy for me to see it, to get it. heyguy.co. You just go there. You can buy a hat, and you can also send me a message or just email me, guy@heyguy.co. So if you want to react to this or something else, just do it. But, to go back to the point about if I were a GM or owner or a coach, like I understand why the Sam Darnolds of the world get the chance he gets, and he earned it. Last year he was really good. He was good last year. But I understand if you're Seattle, like, what are we going to do? We're going to trade up to somewhere in the top 10 and draft a guy, and in 2 years we'll find out if that worked, or right away we'll find out it didn't. That's a lot of that sucks. But then sitting around with a quarterback that can't win you a conference, isn't going to win you a division also sucks. And the thing about Brock Purdy, say what you want about what he's going to cost. Now, you could rightfully argue when he costs more, he's not going to be capable of winning a division. But when I say he can win a division or win you a Super Bowl, what I mean is I think he can fundamentally, mentally, physically do all the necessary things to help you win 3 or 4 playoff games in a row. Well, I don't think Baker can. I don't think Baker for 3 or 4 games in a row can just at that level. And then you might argue, well, Brock didn't do it, he didn't win you the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's true. I think he's capable of it, though, of playing that type of football when you see what type of football is required, even though there's a physicality that he doesn't have. But Justin Herbert has that physicality, and Lamar Jackson has that physicality and has not won a conference championship game, has not been to a Super Bowl. So I think this guy's got it in him, and it does matter how much he gets paid. No question. And if you do a bad contract, it can screw everything up. No question. But the reality check is there are the options are mostly worse, not better. Would you rather have J.J. McCarthy right now going, maybe? The one that, as I thought about this today, really hit me was the Jordan Love one. If I sit around for 3 years with a guy, I want it to hit. The way it does with Aaron Rodgers. If it hit, then maybe the Vikings would look at that and go, let's develop J.J. McCarthy for 2 more years, and then it's going to hit. But, man, you really want it to hit. You're still asking questions 5 years in? After 3 years of development? That doesn't feel great. At least C.J. Stroud, Jane Daniels, when it comes time for their contract, we're going to know. Is that a franchise quarterback? Truly a blue chip franchise quarterback? Because they're just going to have so much. Brock's thrown more touchdowns than Jordan Love. I mean, he's played a couple more games with them than him. You're going to wait around that long. You're going to wait in line for some barbecue. It better be good barbecue. Because I just solid barbecue, I will take. But if I got to wait 2 hours for solid barbecue, I'm not doing that. And at this point, Jordan Love is not great barbecue. He's not bad barbecue either, though. He's got potential. Got a chance.